Hey, hello, hello. Good morning.
Good morning, Junaid.
How you
Junaid,
doing,
can you hear me?
Ingo?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. How do I say your name?
Ingo. That's
Ingo.
correct. That's correct.
Ingo. Hey, can you turn off the virtual or the blurred background?
Yeah, just give me
Yeah,
1 second.
just
I
give
have
me
an
one
echo
second. I
here.
have
I don't know why. I don't know why.
sure thing. Oh no.
Hello? Hello?
Yes, you're here.
Yes, yes. But
Yes, yes.
I have a very
I have
strong
a very
echo.
strong echo.
Why? Why?
It might be on my end. Hold on a second. Testing.
Hello? Hello?
All right, speak now.
Oh yeah, now it's better. Yeah, now it's gone.
All right,
There
cool.
was some- Okay.
Yeah,
But to
I'm in a
turn
different
on the
session, so that's why it
okay.
did that.
Uh, okay. It's not very pretty my background, so we're moving right now.
It's
So
all good, man. It's all good. The other thing I want to do is, can you position the camera so you're like exactly like how I am framed in?
okay.
Lower the camera.
Like this?
Lower the camera so you're closer to the top of the frame, like two fingers. All right,
Like
that
this is good.
works. Yeah, this is better. And then when you're talking to me, just look at the camera
Yeah, I can
instead
just look
of
at you.
the. Awesome.
No, it's good.
We're gonna do the episode. So it's already recording. I'm just gonna
How do I say your name? It's Junaid?
Junaid like lemonade.
Junaid. Okay, Junaid. Perfect.
All right. So where's pause? All right. Hold on. Original sound is on. Cool. Welcome back to another episode of Hacks and Hobbies. Today, we're diving into the incredible journey of Ingo Schulmeyer, a man who left behind a successful corporate career to embrace freedom and adventure. And after more than 15 years in the corporate world, Ingo took the leap, overcame his limiting beliefs, and now lives life on his own terms with his family. His mission is to help others do the same, break free from the system, achieve mental freedom, and maintain financial independence. Ingo, it's such a pleasure to have you on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
Before we get into the core of your philosophy and the steps you took, could you share with our listeners what inspired you to make such a dramatic change in your life? What was that pivotal moment for you?
Yeah, I think the pivotal moment came during the pandemic. I mean, it was a process before already, right? So I had a successful career and I had what most people probably would define as a successful life, right? We had everything. We had a family, I had a job, um, yeah, we had money and everything, but it didn't really fulfill me and didn't really make happy. So ultimately, there was something missing in my life, and I was
Hmm.
looking over many years what that is. But I also had this limiting beliefs that hold me back. That said, okay, I cannot quit my job. I cannot do my own thing because I need this. Yeah, I need the money at the end of the month, and I need the paycheck to feed my kids and to pay the mortgage and everything. So for many years, I couldn't really do that. But then it was
Mm-hmm.
ultimately it was during the pandemic when we said, okay, when everything went even a little worse, and the kids didn't go to school anymore, and my wife was not happy anymore. So we said, okay, now let's try to do something different and let's look for
Hmm.
something else.
So you talk about taking the leap and overcoming those limiting beliefs. Could you walk us through how you recognize those limiting beliefs, and the process that was to overcome them?
Yeah, so I mean, the limiting belief was what I mentioned before that I thought, okay, I need to have the job. And I always thought I wanted to do something differently. I mean, I was not really unhappy, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's the point, right? We all, or many of us, living in a life where we're not where it's not really miserable, right? But it's also not really the life we want for. And then we're staying in this kind of gray zone of mediocrity.
Yeah.
Um, but we cannot really break out because the pain is not high enough to reach the threshold that we would make any changes. And that's what I reached then during the pandemic. So for me, it was, yeah, I thought, okay, I need this job and I can do my career. And I thought, okay, maybe with the next career step, it will be different, or maybe I can change something, or, like get promoted, or do something else, or try to focus a little differently. And I was always, all my life, I was good in chasing and setting and achieving my goals. But the point is, they also didn't really fulfill me, because if you're just chasing the goals and you achieve them, then okay, you're happy for a moment, but after that, okay, you just need to come up with the next goal, right? So what's next? What's the next step? And yeah, then I think during the pandemic, when before in my job I was traveling a lot because I was in the semiconductor industry, so I was a lot in Asia and in the United States. But then during the pandemic, I was just sitting at home and sitting in front of the computer all day. It really drove me crazy. And also the kids were more at home, and then there was more tension at home because
Sure.
of course, everything went a little bit crazy. And then I think I reached this pain threshold where we just said, okay, I mean, let's try something. And I think what helped me in this process was really shifting my perspective a little bit, because before I said, okay, I was afraid of making this decision because I thought, okay, if I leave my job, I never can go back, and it's whatever. If I run out of money, we will sit on the street, and like you have all these crazy ideas. But when I discussed this with my wife and we changed the perspective, we just said, I mean, we didn't talk about that yet, but we sold our house and everything and moved to another country. But and we said, okay, what is the worst thing that can happen? And we said, okay, actually, the worst thing that can happen is we're going there, we're staying there for 1 year, and if we don't like it in 1 year and we eventually run out of money, we just go back and we're looking for new jobs, and we're trying to find new jobs. And so suddenly the perspective changed from whatever, we will end up in the streets without money, to, okay, the worst case scenario is like having a 1 year vacation and then doing the same thing that we actually did before. And yeah, it sounds very different, right? And it's also like a big shift in how you view things.
It does. So as you overcame your limiting beliefs by having the conversations with your wife, figuring out, hey, here are some of the options that we have the ability to go back to this other thing if this doesn't work, right? So you had those, you overcame them, you figured out the plan. What was that unknown thing that you leaped into? What was that thing that you got into?
Yeah, so we basically said, okay, we didn't like the life in Europe anymore, and we said, okay, let's go somewhere else. Let's go to travel, and let's see if we find somewhere else a better life. Also for our kids, they were still in a young age. They were like 9 and 11, I think, at that time when we made the decision. So we thought that, okay, it's actually a good time before once they're teenagers, right, it's very difficult to take them out of their social environment. But in this age, it was still more or less easy. And we said, okay, let's do it. And we sold everything. We sold our house, our cars, basically all our belongings, aside a few suitcases. And we took a one-way flight to Mexico, and we started traveling here. We ended up traveling for 9 months. And since then, now more than 2 years ago, we found a city here where we really like it, where we find a nice community. And we decided to stay here now. So now since 3 years, we're in Mexico.
Nice. So because entrepreneurship often involves embracing uncertainty and adventure, what advice do you have for our listeners who may feel stuck in their current situations but are afraid to take that leap into the unknown?
Yeah, first of all, I think don't make it like determined, right? Every decision can be reversed. So don't, you always need to have like a safety buffer. So don't do it out of desperation. But I think it's okay. I mean, if you're in a job and you need the money and you don't have any savings or something, so I would start it as a side hustle and just try to use the time in the evenings, on the weekends, to start to building on your vision. I think the most important thing is really starting with the vision. because there it's really coming to what you really want to do. That's also one thing. And then
Yeah.
stick with that and don't jump always on the next brand that is coming up, right? So if
Mm.
something doesn't work for 3 months, so changing to something else, and I think that's not working. That's what I mean, I tried also a few things in the beginning when we started our journey, but then very quickly I really found something and I stuck with that for a longer time. Even that it's in the beginning, it's hard and you don't see the progress, but
Yeah.
you just need to trust. And that's why it's important to have this vision, because if it's something you really believe in and something that is aligned with your values, I think it's much easier to stick with that. And and then I mean, just don't put yourself in a desperate situation, right? For example, if you quit your job like I did, make sure you have enough savings to also overcome some difficult times, right? So I mean, if you have savings only for 3 or 6 months, I think that's not a good advice, because you will put yourself under pressure and it will not work that way. But so yeah, if you have like savings for, let's say, 2 years or something like that, I
Yeah.
think you have a very good chance and you don't have pressure and you can make it work.
I love that. I like the idea that you said, you got to have a vision first before you
Mhm.
quit and start jumping into that new thing, because that vision is going to help you define, hey, what's the first thing? What's the second thing? Does it even make sense? Am I able to land any clients? Am I able to uh, build on that vision? Am I able to execute on that vision? Because yes, we all have a ton of ideas,
Mm.
and we just oppress ourselves by not taking action on those ideas. We hold ourselves back, and that's where the limiting beliefs come into. You're listening to everybody else as well as yourself, and saying that you're not going to succeed. You're just stuck in that space and constantly without taking any action at all. And if we look at little kids, they don't think about anything. They just jump at the
Mm.
thing and start doing. And no wonder every kid in the world knows how to walk, because it's like, oh my God, I'm gonna fall if I try to walk. I'm not trying that, right? So they didn't give up.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Now, yeah, what's beautiful is that you talk about mental freedom, and you talk about uh, building success with that growth mindset. And as uh, mental freedom being a big part of your message, how can someone start developing a success and growth mindset to free from that mental constraints that the system often imposes on us?
Yeah, I think, yeah, that's exactly the key point, right? Mental freedom starts with setting yourself free, especially from this distraction from all the noise we have around us. And I believe, therefore, we need to go back and reconnect with ourselves, because especially in
Mm,
our modern times, right, we lost a little bit, or many of us at least lost the connection with ourselves, because
yeah,
we're so distracted with social media all the time around us, with televisions, with friends, and we get all these opinions around us from all kinds of different people. And I think because of that, we forget a little bit what we really, that's why I talked about the vision and about our purpose in the
yeah,
beginning. I think that's the key
yeah,
point. And we need to find out what this means for us. And now everybody will say eventually, okay, I know it. Sure, I know what my purpose is, and I know what success
mm-hmm,
means for me. But I think we should spend some more time on that, because often success is defined what our society or our surrounding, at least it's biased by that, right? So
yeah,
that's what I thought for many years. I thought that success means to have a house and a car and a lot of money and a family and to travel the world. But in the end, when I connected with myself and I really searched for the solution within myself, I eventually it was something differently, and that was only something I found out for myself because I connected with myself. So I think the
yeah,
first step, if you want to start, is trying to get connection with yourself again, and therefore just disconnect with everything else, right? So
yeah,
find some time without your cell phone, find some time without television, without social media, and even with people. So just be with yourself. And I think that's also something many people are afraid of, right? Because we're not used to this situation anymore that we're bored, right? Because we think, shit, all my thoughts, I'm alone with my
Yeah,
thoughts. How horrible is that? So, but this is actually where it starts, right? So this is where we should start and where we need to learn again to love ourselves.
I love that. You mentioned that it's important to spend time with ourselves, spend time inside our mind, and really embrace who we are
Mhm.
by shutting out all those external noises, shutting off all those external distractions, because we are constantly bombarded by notifications, bombarded by emails and flyers and coupons, like sales going on here. Like there's so much noise out there. So it's really, really important to find that mental peace and take time out of your day, or take time out of um, your life, or even take a week away, just disconnect from everything so that you can center
Mhm.
into what you already possess, what you already have. And in the past, I've listened to some really amazing books. Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey, and Will Smith's book. Will to For them to be able to write that book, number one, they had to go away for a couple of years to then compile all the notes that they had taken, all the recordings that they had done to write this book. So I think it's really important to be able to find that little sliver of time and start defining that vision so that you can then make that vision a reality. Now, something that you did was you also focused on creating passive income using revolutionary technologies like Bitcoin and
Mhm.
AI. And I'm right there with you, because I've been following Bitcoin since 2013. I've been following AI since 2015, and all of these technologies. It's not only just enabled us to do the things that we didn't think was possible, but it's also helped us accelerate at a much more faster pace. So talk to me about, once you've achieved this mental clarity for yourself, how were you able to use these technologies to build some passive income?
Yeah, I think this is still a process that's still going on, right? And I think, yeah, the two things, right? One is the passive income. I think AI is more for making your life easier. And I think, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
these are two revolutions going on right now, right? So one is the
Yeah,
financial revolution with Bitcoin, and the other one is the digital revolution with AI, which and this is something completely new that we didn't have before. I think it's bigger than the internet and everything that was before, right? And the development is also exponential. So
mm-hmm.
just make sure that you stay ahead of the curve and use these new
Agreed.
technologies and don't be afraid of them. And yeah, they can help you so much. I mean, if it's content creation or whatever, budgeting or all kinds of things, they're so helpful in your learning process that you should absolutely use them and try them out and figure them out. Just be I like what you said before with the kid that is learning to walk. Just get this curiosity again, and I think
Yeah,
curiosity is also important. And be curious in the things. And there are so many opportunities out there today, especially if you want to build your own business, that you
100%.
will find something and um, just do it in the right way, right? As I said in the beginning, start with your vision and then see how you can use this new technologies to support this vision. Don't do it the other way
Yeah.
around, right? Don't jump on the train now just because there's whatever, I don't know, there's some some new business opportunity with AI. You want to go
Right.
after that because there's so many opportunities and each of us can find an opportunity. But I also think, yeah, all the future of jobs and all the future of our working culture and how we work will change tremendously over the next 5 or 10 years. So if you're
Yeah.
staying flexible, if you're staying curious, then I think, yeah, you have there's a golden future for you. So don't be afraid of the technologies. I know there are also downsides with AI, and there are people afraid of. But it's like with every
With
development in
everything, there's going to
the
be
human
downsides, and
history,
there's
right? There will,
yeah,
but if you, yeah, you just use it and use the positive things and make it work for you, and don't work for the technology.
Yeah. So now that we've talked a little bit about Bitcoin and AI and how these are two revolutionary technologies that are currently on the precipice of getting more and more uh, clarity, getting more and more public eye. I mean, I go to this grocery store and they have a little machine there, and it shows the Bitcoin price, like the current Bitcoin price, and how you can purchase Bitcoin right over there. Can you share how these tools have contributed to your financial independence and how our listeners can also start leveraging them?
Yeah, I think Bitcoin, I'm invested since a few years in Bitcoin. That helped me a lot also to build my wealth. I mean, I was always investing. I was always interested in investing. In the beginning, it was like stocks and real estate, mainly our own, like our own houses that grow in revenue, and that we didn't keep it. We bought one, we sold it, we bought it again, we sold it again.
Sure.
So we used that to make money. Also, the stock market had a good opportunity. I think Bitcoin is again a revolution, right? Because it will change the complete financial market. And I think the point here is that Bitcoin is really has a finite supply, right? And if we see again, like just this week, there was a new decision by the Fed to lower the interest rates. Also, China lowered interest rates. That means they're printing more and more money, which makes it like worthless one day. All the dollars and euros, right?
Yeah.
They're losing their worth. While Bitcoin is something that's seeing more and more attention all over the world, and it's becoming more and more important. And while more people adopting that because it's finite, right? So the price will in the end will go up. So I'm absolutely convinced by that.
Yeah.
The other thing is also, I mean, Bitcoin is also can mean freedom for many people, right? If
Yeah.
you get into the game early enough. So I think for us also as a society, that's why I'm a big promoter of Bitcoin. So I think also us small people should own like at least a small portion of Bitcoin, just to make sure
Yeah.
that in the end, not only BlackRock or these big guys owning all like 90% of the Bitcoin, because then it's
Yeah.
not, well, it's also not a fair system anymore. But if the small like the normal people going in that early, I think that's also something that helped us to become independent from all the government and from the taxes and from this control that we see today.
I love it. You talk about the freedom and how these new technologies enable you to get some freedom back. Freedom back. Looking back, what are some of the most rewarding aspects of living life on your own terms? And what has this journey taught you about freedom and fulfillment?
Um, First of all, yeah, this journey taught me. I think first of all, I don't regret anything. So and I must say, from the day we made this decision, it's now 3 years ago that I made this decision. I quit my job. We sold our house.
Yeah.
It was not that I felt sorry after that or said, ah, shit, what did I do? I sold the house and I quit my job.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, it was like a releasing process. It freed me up directly, and from the beginning, I felt it felt much easier because I didn't have these belongings anymore. I didn't have the job
Mm-hmm.
anymore. Sure, we had we had some finances, we had some savings, so I didn't have to worry too much. But yeah, I felt free from the beginning without having all these belongings.
Mm.
And the rewarding thing is eventually, yeah, I mean, freedom doesn't mean happiness all the time, right? I mean,
Yeah.
there's still challenges, but it's different. I mean, yeah, I mean, the first 9 months we were traveling. First of all, it was great because I had the opportunity to meet my family on a very
Sure.
intense basis, right? We were 24/7. We bought this SUV. We're traveling. We're sleeping in Airbnbs. So it was
Mm-hmm.
also great, but it's also intense, right? So sometimes it's also difficult if you stay together so close. But yeah, I mean, freedom doesn't mean to be happy all the time, but it
Yeah.
means that you're living with purpose and you can decide what to do. And it's such a good feeling. And even if, yeah, sometimes, like always in life, shit can happen, and it can also happen when you're free. But yeah, I mean, I don't regret it, and I'm so happy that we did it. And there are
Love
always
it.
new things coming up. Uh, new exciting situations. But I also don't think that like what also many people make the mistake. They think to stay in the zone where they are right now is less risky than jump into the unknown. And I wouldn't agree with that. I think it's yeah, there's some risk in going into the unknown, but I think it's much more risky to stay where you are and to live a life that you maybe don't fully enjoy.
Agreed. Man, I love it. The conversation so much. Thank you so much for sharing your journey to freedom. Let's jump into the next segment of the episode. Now, our listeners love actionable tips and how our listeners always love actionable tips they can implement right away. Ingo, could you share 3 practical hacks for anyone looking to break free from the system and start living life on their own terms?
Yeah, I think the first one I shared already, it's really connect with yourself. And this is important because yeah, I think that the truth is, or your truth and your solution, you won't find out there in the books, right? You will find it only within yourself. I think that's a very important point. The other thing is, yeah, I mean, get in action. I think that's also important because yeah, and don't be so focused on the outcome, right? Because if we're setting goals and I mean, goals are not so important. They were very important for me, but today they're not so important for me anymore. I mean, I still have my vision and I have goals, like long-term goals that I want to achieve, but I see them more like as a lighthouse. They're guiding my direction. So, but today I think it much more important to get into action and to celebrate like the daily wins. And if you break it down in that, it also makes it so easier because yeah, it takes down all the burden of you that you have to achieve this goal. And if you don't achieve this goal, you see yourself as a failure, right? Because you didn't achieve the goal. But if you do it different, if you celebrate the process, the progress, then yeah, you have much more opportunity to celebrate, and you're not, yeah, you don't have to stick to this. You're not connected to the outcome anymore, or your success is not connected to the outcome anymore. I think that's also something very important.
Understand. And what will be the last hack for us?
The last hack, another one. Yeah, I mean, just trust in yourself and trust in what you want to do, and yeah, don't get distracted by other people. Don't let them take you down. If you have an idea, so there will always be doubters, right? But if it's your idea and if it's aligned with your vision, I think that's nothing can hold you back because that's really what you're living for. And if you found that, and it's possible to find that if you connect with yourself, if you find that, you have really a strong driving factor, and then you're also less sensible for external noise or for people that don't believe in you.
I love that. Thank you so much, Ingo. Those are excellent hacks that we can implement. Find the vision, take action, and then get ahead of yourself, or find the thing that you're gonna really grow and move forward. All right. Towards the end of the episode, I like to ask fun 6 questions. Helps us get to know you a little bit better. So, Ingo, are you ready?
Sure. Let's see.
All right. First question: what is the one hobby that you wish you got into?
The one hobby that I wish I got into. I would like to do something more creative, like playing an instrument or something like that. I started when I was young, I started playing guitar, but I was never really, I never really practiced. So yeah, today I would like to play an instrument.
I like it. I like it. Number 2, what did you want to be when you were a child?
When I was a child, actually, I always wanted to be like something technical, like an engineer or also an astronaut. And then I became also an engineer. So I'm a technical person. I'm a logical person. So that was something that was interesting always for me.
I love it. I love it, dude. I'm got that technical mind too. I'm always taking things apart. I'm always figuring things out. It's a lot of fun. All right, next up, what is your favorite movie or TV show?
My favorite movie, I'm not watching TV shows. We're not
Okay.
watching. Sometimes we're watching movies. I like Inception with Leonardo
Oh
DiCaprio
yes.
because I like the disgrace stories. I like if there's a very weird story, or 12 Monkeys with Bruce Willis and Brad Pitt is also very good because
Yeah.
I like this little bit freaky stories.
No, those are absolutely amazing shows and TV. Sorry, those are amazing movies, and I watched Inception a couple of times, and I
Yes,
want to get that little top that he spins at the end of the movie. Like, did it fall? Did it fall?
yes.
It's pretty cool. All right, next up, if you were to play a character in any movie, what would you choose?
A character in the movie, I would be Indiana Jones.
Very cool, man. I love that. I love that. I'm waiting to watch the latest Indiana Jones. I haven't had a chance yet,
Hmm.
but he's definitely, it's a classic character that you can't go wrong with. I mean, for 40 years,
Right.
Harrison Ford played that role, and he's done it
Yeah, it's
spectacularly.
great. Yeah.
That takes us to the next question. Who is your favorite superhero?
My favorite superhero. Oh, that's a good question. I'm not too much into superhero, but maybe
Sure.
Batman. I like Batman.
I think Batman's a great superhero.
Mm.
All right,
And he's
last
human, right?
question. He is human. Yeah, he's human, and he uses technology,
Right.
right? Something that we're both fans of to make himself a superhero. Our last question: if you were a board game, what would it be?
A board game. Um, I like Catan.
That's an awesome game.
Yeah.
Awesome
Because
answers,
it's
man.
about building, right? It's creativity, it's
Yeah,
building, and it's yeah, creating empires. Interesting.
it is. I
Play it
mean,
with my
like
kids.
not only are you creating a community and your settlements, but you're also using what's available on the land
Right. Exactly.
efficiently. And
Yes.
that's you're living off the land and you're making sure that
Yeah.
you're able
That's,
to.
by the way, also something we're doing here. We're in a way trying to get somehow self-sufficient, right? We just bought a land here. We bought or we're building a house right now, and
Oh,
I was
nice.
planting already like 40 trees, fruit trees, and all kinds of stuff. So I like to work in the
Very
garden
cool.
also.
And this is in Mexico,
Yes, it's in Mexico.
Mexico City. Nice.
No,
Very
not in
cool.
Mexico City. It's in Veracruz. That is that of the
Oh,
Veracruz.
Veracruz in Mexico. Okay.
Mhm.
Nice. Ingo, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show today.
Thank you, Junaid. It was a pleasure to be here.
Your journey and insights are incredibly inspiring. But before we wrap up, is there anything else you'd like to share with our listeners?
No, I think I'm good for now. I mean, if you're interested, if you want to learn more, I have also a YouTube channel. You can come to that. It's called The Small Reset, YouTube at The Small Reset. There will find also interesting videos about the topics about mindset and what we talked today, and also interesting stories of interesting people.
Absolutely. So we'll be sure to include the link to your YouTube channel and other social media in the show notes today. Thanks again, Ingo, for joining us today.
Thank you.
And to our listeners, remember your journey to mental freedom and financial independence begins with a single step. Check out the YouTube channel, The Small Reset. And until next time, keep challenging the norm, embracing the unknown, and hacking away at your passions.